Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily, brand new week. Who's ready for some Monday motivation? Des here, of course. Hope you're all well, hope you had a good weekend. Hope you're looking forward to all the positivity that's on offer this week. And of course there's plenty of that. The lessening of restrictions is definitely going to help. We'll speak about that a little bit later. Just let you know how my weekend's been. Tricky, I guess. You know, it's been a bit of a difficult one, to be honest. I've got a few real worries that I can't do anything about, you know, other than wait, you know, in terms of health of others and things like that, you know. So obviously that's upsetting me. That's a little bit sad. Got in plenty of activity, but also after having a rest last week from the running, I got out there on Saturday to give it a bit of a test, and the hamstring is just feeling that again. So again, it's just adding to that frustration. You know, I don't want to get off on a negative note, but it's running would definitely be something that could help me with the other things, you know, come to terms with them, set time aside, feel good about what I'm doing in that sense, which gives me a bit of a clearer mind and a bit of focus to attack things in the right way. So yeah, it's just been a little bit tricky, and things have just climbed up on top of me a little bit. But that said, still want to sort of press on, do whatever I can. So I'm out at the moment, just getting in a walk, doing the video, just a short walk at the minute. I just thought I'd have a walk round the river. There's some pubs just up by the bridge. I thought I'd have a sort of put my nose over those, see how people are enjoying that, and it feels great, to be honest. Whilst it's not something I'm particularly rushing to do, you know, seeing people in the pub enjoying themselves, you know, is absolutely fantastic, because again, it gives them that choice to do something they want to do, doesn't it? And that's what it's about sometimes. It's just about having choice. I said some of the things that are upsetting me are almost things I can't control. You know, and I always talk about not being defined by things we can't control, but you know, when we have choice, you know, we can definitely sort of help define ourselves and help do things properly and positively, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Getting the week off to a flyer. So yeah, I'm just out for a walk, just doing the video, like I say, and a little bit later I'll be meeting a few friends to walk. We've got a little bit of a walking group going on a Monday evening. Really glad that's back up and running after the restrictions lessening a couple of weeks ago. So these Mondays are becoming quite useful for Monday motivation, aren't they? Because they're giving us something to look forward to, something to go at, something to be positive about. And that's what we have to be, isn't it? Go into the week with real good intention and purpose, and I can assure you it'll be that little bit better. As ever, we've got all the usual offerings. I'll just run down those before trying to offer a bit of Monday motivation after all that. Tomorrow we've got the City Slickers Solidarity Session. Your chance to get involved in some kind of activity, whatever you choose, wherever you are. We like to do it at 6:30. It's called the Solidarity Session because, of course, that's what we're doing it in, solidarity. It's virtual, you know, so just by sort of connecting through the social media, doing things that we all enjoy doing, you know, sharing that kind of feeling of being part of something again, it's absolutely fantastic. It's worked really well, and something I really want to take forward again, to offer that bit of choice, you know. So if you can get involved in that, you know, I'll be on at 6 PM tomorrow to explain it all and talk more about why it's important. You know, it's absolutely fantastic way of, if you don't get out on a Monday, I always talk about never missing a Monday. If you don't get out, it's a great way to get involved in what we do, you know, and do it with that purpose and intention I spoke about. Sometimes, even now, even with the restrictions, we have to do some of the things that we love on our own, you know, and it doesn't work for everybody, does it? Whilst it works for some, you know, it doesn't work for everybody, and we're trying to be a community and something we can build upon and really use to good effect, you know, to keep inviting people and make as inclusive as possible. On Wednesday we'll put some focus on the Wednesday workout challenge. I was totting up the results for the first week today. It's called Last Man Standing. It's basically doing 10,000 steps a day for as long as you can. and not being the first person to crack. You know, it started off really well, and whilst that one's up and running, we also looked at a small planking challenge which I've introduced some details on and some information. Check out the closed Facebook group. You know, just things to tie us over, to keep us ticking along through the week, through the month. Really important little bits of activity to keep us fit and well, and that's what we really need, isn't it? We really need to stay fit and well through this situation and just keep doing what we have to do. So like I say, do check those out, you know, and do tune into those episodes, because like there'll be a lot more information about them. Thursday, it's all about Thursday Thoughts. It's me answering questions, your questions, live at 6 p.m. You know, whatever you've got to throw at me. I always say that DOdaily is supposed to be honest and relatable, a safe space where you can get a feeling for how someone else, myself mainly, you know, is dealing with things, you know. And I'll be honest and relatable. If I'm not feeling great, I've already touched upon it today, I'll tell you, you know, and I'll sort of try and explain how I'm trying to do it better, and hopefully that can relate into what you're doing. And that's what it's all about, really. It's just about trying to find a few tips and advice on what we can do to really take things forward. You know, it could be anything from the coronavirus situation as it is, to injury, to what's my favourite colour. I don't know, absolutely anything. Quite prepared to answer it. If you've watched DOdaily before, you know I'm quite happy to get out of my comfort zone to answer the questions in the best way I can. So keep posting those. Love to sort of get plenty of questions to go at and really sort of give it a real go on Thursday. You know, when one of my favourites of the week, that even though it does take me out of my comfort zone, doing a live session, it invites people to get involved, you know, have their questions sort of read out and answered, and hopefully take something from it. I'm always talking about listening and taking advice, and that's something that I'm really having to do at the moment, really having to sort of cling on to every word certain people say and take forward. So if I can pass some of that on, you know, it could be useful to you too. And then on Friday, I'll be continuing my trek across the Robin Hood Trail. It'll be week 3 of that. Did another 3 miles on last Friday from Woolerton Hall here in Nottingham out towards Bramcote Hills Park. Not sure how much of it I actually followed the actual trail. You know, I kind of got it wrong, got lost quite a few times, but not to worry. I plan to go and do that at some point this week. I plan to go and do it, you know, just to make sure I've covered the right stretch, you know, and so I can pick that up on Friday and go again and attack the day, wake up to walk. That's what we do on a Friday morning, you know, use the benefits of getting up early. If you didn't see last Friday's episode, there was some real good information on there about why getting up early in particular to do activities is so important. And then on Saturday, I look to sort of throw it all back to you, maybe suggest something we can use as a Saturday selfie theme, so you can post in your pictures of all your sort of activity, wherever, whatever you're doing. Again, a bit like a Tuesday, but on a Saturday, and it's up to you sort of what time and where you do it, you know, and just show us what you're doing, so we can use all that to try and motivate and inspire people to take something from it, to get active. That's the biggest thing here, is to try and encourage people to get active. And whilst I try not to sort of preach about it and encourage it, you know, push people into doing it, trying to find ways to help people understand what's available. And that's what DOdaily is. That's the week sort of summed up. And of course we start that with Monday motivation, and I was talking a bit at the start of the episode about sort of the lessening restrictions and the fact that we've now got choice again, haven't we? Do you know, I mentioned a couple of times, particularly on a Thursday, I think, that I'm not exactly rushing back to the pub. I wanted to go and look today to see what sort of positive vibe, you know, it was creating and how people was enjoying that. But I think what the most important thing about all this is understanding that with most things, even that 7-day plan there, it's absolutely no obligation to take part in the plan. The important thing to understand, sorry, is that we don't have to do anything. You know, if you tell yourself you have to do it, you know, it becomes a bit of an issue. It becomes a bit of a sort of problem in your own mind. So we always say that plan is no obligation, you know, and all these things that are opening up, I want to sort of go and enjoy them and do them in my own time, not be forced to sort of sit out in the cold and do things like that. Whilst I'm not discouraging it, I'm really not. Do you know, I just want that feeling of spontaneity back again. Somebody mentioned on Thursday Thoughts, when I asked the question, what are you really looking forward to? Somebody says the spontaneity, which is really important, isn't it? Because sometimes when we've got choice, you know, when we understand we've got choice, that's what's the most important thing. I started the episode by saying that certain people I know are ill, and unfortunately there's no choice with some of that. You know, we can't change that, so we have to deal with it the only way possible, you know, is by just sort of keep moving forward, keep dealing with it, keep trying our best. You know, even if it is upsetting, even if it's concerning, we have to keep sort of giving it a real go. But when we've got choice, everything changes. Do you know what I talk about a lot about, before I took up activity, before I lost the weight, whether I did or I didn't, I probably did, but I didn't realise. Do you know, I didn't understand I had choices I could make myself. Do you know, I kind of lived to other people's script. I lived to other people, sort of kind of conducting myself to what other people were doing, rather than thinking about it myself, thinking about what I really want from things. And it wasn't until I realised I had those kind of choices I could make, till I found the determination that really got me through it, that really drove me forward and made me sort of take on the activity, realise I can try and help others, you know. And this is my drive and determination. It's to try and help people who sort of perhaps might be feeling like I was, you know, that we haven't got these choices to take forward. You know, we're stuck in a rut. That's how it feels when you're not feeling fantastic. I've made no bones about I wasn't feeling particularly well, you know. So what I'm saying, guys, is sometimes, you know, don't say you have to go and do it. You don't have to rush to the pub. You don't have to get involved in any of that activity I've said. Do you know, remember, it's all a choice. It's all something you can do. And when you realise that, when you sort of take it that way, you know, it's much more enjoyable. It becomes easier. It becomes less of a chore. And that's the thing, isn't it? You know, we all sort of feel like we have to go to work. I was talking last Wednesday about sort of never getting that feeling about, oh, it's Wednesday, oh, it's Friday, Monday, these kind of things. Do you know? And it's exactly the same, isn't it? We don't have to do anything. We've got choices, and if we use the right terminology, sometimes, you know, if we say, I choose to do the solidarity session, I choose to go to the pub, do you know, and not sort of live to conformity or expectation, you know, it becomes much easier, it becomes a lot more enjoyable, and you'll get a lot more from it. And the reason I mentioned both sort of in tandem today, one sort of contradicts the other, of course, one's health and one's probably not so healthy, is because it's absolutely up to you. You know, we live our lives the way we want to, you know, and we choose how to do it. I spent most of my adult life in the pub, and sometimes I feel the effects of that, so I'm making choices now to do it a little bit different. But now I feel like I can choose without sort of being forced to do it one way or the other. And once you've got that, you know, everything changes, everything opens up, and you feel a lot more positive about what you can do. And it's sometimes not until you realise that you haven't got a choice of how a situation will pan out that it dawns on you. And that's what's kind of happened to me in the last sort of 4 or 5 days. Do you know, a lot sort of crept up on me. Do you know, things I can't control, but as ever, I can't be defined by those as well. I've got to try to make an effort at least to get through it, that little bit stronger than yesterday, than tomorrow, than I am now. Do you know, really sort of push on and do whatever I can, because, you know, we've all got to live this life. We've all got to make the absolute most of it. And whilst we can make the most of it by doing our activity, by going to the pub, by doing different things, you know, we've got to do it our own way. And that's so important, guys, because I don't want to get deep, but I've said this a few times recently, we're not here long enough, are we? Do you know, and once we realise our own sort of vulnerabilities, the fact that we're not invincible, do you know, it changes a lot and we start understanding, you know, ourselves a lot better. So hopefully that's a bit of information there to take forward into the week. Like I said, I didn't want it to be negative, you know, it really isn't. Whilst there's a lot going on, whilst there's a lot to ponder for me personally, I'm going to do all those things that I know keep me together, keep me pushing forward, you know, because I want to attack it well. I want to attack it the best I can. And whatever happens sort of around us, whatever life throws at us, you know, we've got to sort of keep moving forward, keep taking it in a stride, and not let ourselves sort of let things get on top of us. That's been happening for far too long. You know, we're now starting to see the shoots of recovery from the coronavirus, and how long have we been waiting for that? So keep making those good choices, guys. I'd love those to be getting involved in some of that activity, some of DOdaily, but that's the reason it's absolutely no obligation as well, because it's absolutely up to you. If someone's telling you to do something, you know, we're all quite stubborn in our own little way. We'll dig our heels in, we'll say sod off, I'll do it my way. You know, once you sort of take a step back, looking from the outside, realise the bigger picture, you know, it can just help. So until tomorrow, get out there for some activity, look at the weather. If you're going to the pub, sorry, my battery's going. If you're going to the pub, have a drink for me and keep going. Just doing it. See you tomorrow for the solidarity session.